Hello, I'm Nancy Pierson, Business Development Manager with Equity Title Agency, and I am here with Sacha Blanchet. Sacha is with Coldwell Banker Realty, and he is my resource, my expert resource on a topic that I want to tackle, and that is FIRPTA. So Sacha, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. You can tell by his lovely accent, Sacha is from Quebec, Canada. So how long have you been here in the States?
Actually, I've been living in the States for about 20 years now, and specifically in Arizona for 15 years, and finally got my citizenship in 2009.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
That's
Nancy.
awesome. Well, obviously you have a lot of Canadian clients, and you have worked on, you told me before, hundreds of FIRPTA deals. So let me ask you this. When you start off the transaction with a client who's going to be selling one of their investment properties, and of course they're from Canada in this case, what is the conversation? Take me through the conversation that you would have with them to make sure you present to them the facts about what will be happening in a FIRPTA transaction.
Sure, great question, Nancy, and it is a complicated situation. But the first thing that I do a quick interview with the clients, just knowing if they qualify for FIRPTA or not. So if they do have a U.S. Social Security, or they have a visa or a green card, so that doesn't include into FIRPTA at all. So we can go ahead and sell the property as a normal U.S. citizen in that case. So also, if they do own the property under a tax ID number, they do have a corporation that is U.S., in that case also we can just go ahead and sell the property because it does not include, it's not included in the FIRPTA. So the second thing that I will talk with the clients is I want to make sure that they're aware that they should be talking to a professional, a tax professional, before doing anything. So as real estate agent, we're not qualified to give any advice about taxes, and that could be there could be a lot of liability on real estate agent if we start giving advice to them about that. So in terms of the properties, when we sell the property, there's usually a withholding of 10 to 15% in that case, but there is an exemption also that are doable. So the first exemption will be if the property is under $300,000, and if the buyer is planning to live in the property for at least 50% of the time for the next 2 years, those could qualify for an exemption. So again, that would be something to discuss with a tax attorney. There's cases that I sell property, a property, and my seller will say, well, I only want to sell a property to someone that will live into the property, so there's no exemption. So in that case, the seller still has to file a tax return with the US IRS as well at the end of the year. So it's very, very important to let them know that withholding or not, they're still going to have the same result at the end as well. They're still going to have to pay their taxes and file their taxes with the US. So that was answering all your questions?
Yes, no, that was great information. And as a matter of fact, one of the things I heard you talk about was the title company. I'm sure they play a huge role in making sure this is a smooth transaction. There's no hiccups, there's no missteps. So why don't you talk about that for a moment, about choosing title companies?
Sure, absolutely. I've had several transactions with different title companies that were not very smooth, and we ran into some major issues where the buyer became responsible after the fact for taxes because of the deadline of sending the funds to the IRS. But with Equity Title, I work with Heather King, and she's been really, really great at the Biltmore office. And we have a good system down where she knows exactly what to do with each of my clients that are foreigner, and it's been helping a lot for relieving a lot of the future liability for seller, buyer, and for agents as well.
Excellent. Thank you for bringing that up. Heather King is an excellent escrow officer, as well as the rest of the gals at the Equity Title Biltmore branch. I welcome you to reach out to me if you need more information on FIRPTA. We have excellent detailed FIRPTA guides that I can send to you via PDF or hard copies. Also, if you have any particular questions, if you're working with a foreign investor, reach out to our office and one of our escrow officers would be glad to answer any questions. So once again, I want to say thank you for your time
Thank you, Nancy.
and thank you for your information. I hope this is helpful.